Hello, this is Trevor. Today we're working on another web cache poisoning lab in PortSwigger's Web Security Academy. It is internal cache poisoning. So the lab's vulnerable to web cache poisoning, multiple layers of caching. A user visits using Chrome to solve the lab, poison the internal cache so the home page executes alert document cookie victim browser. Internal cache. Okay, interesting. Let's check it out. Please remember to like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know how I'm doing. And as this comes up, so I'm just going to start out like I've done the last few with param miner and scan it. I'll pause the video or pause the recording rather while I do that. So extensions, param miner, guess params, guess everything, and that's good. Okay. And then actively scan this host. Cool. All right. I'll pause the video and come back as soon as this is done. Thanks. Okay, so the active scan finished, but this has not. This is param miner. So we're just going to continue on, and hopefully this will wrap up soon and give us any other hints that we need. But what we have, we found the cross-site scripting, and this is in geolocate, which is interesting. In the callback load country. Interesting. All right. And then we also have this one, which was exported host. So we have that. We have this cross-site scripting for geolocate. Because this is a expert, I don't think we can just, this doesn't look like it's cached anyway. So response, yeah, not cached. But we do have this X-forwarded host. So let's send this to repeater and play with this X-forwarded host. Let's throw it here. X-forwarded host blah.com. Let's also try that pragma x, what was it? Get cache key. I think that's what it was. So not freaking cached, blah. But we do have our X-forwarded host being used for the canonical as well as analytics. Not for geolocate, which is this one. And this is where our XSS that we found was. Proxy. So, and there's an external and an internal cache, right? We know that because of the instructions. So let's do, so I guess I'm a little lost here. Blah, 2 matches. because those. So what if, I mean, we can't cache. So what we need is somehow this to be cached. Okay, so I had to look up the instructions. I was lost and nothing was working. So here's how you solve this one. All right. Well, I haven't actually done it yet, so this is how I'm going to. So I've enabled the dynamic, whatever thing, dynamic cache buster in with param miner, and you can see that reflected here. And so this has two layers of caching. The external cache, which includes this as a key. So because we're sending a new one each time, each one's going to be new, right? And the same here. So these two will always be in sync. And this is our target, this geolocate.js. So, and I guess if we send this enough times, eventually this will change, and it will change with the exported host content. So then we exploit it by putting in our exploit server our server domain here, and then get this one cached so that no matter what they send, it works. All right, so let's try that. So I'm going to just send this a bunch of times to prove it out. And what I'm looking for is blah.com here. And that portion, it's a fragment. This is cached internally to the application. And so that's that second cache layer. And this internal cache layer is not affected by the query string. So once it's cached, it will be cached until it's not cached anymore. Man. This is going to take a little while. Wonder what its cache age is. All right, well, I'll pause the video and come back when I have it actually working. Ah, there we go. So you can see that it got it cached. Now if we go to param miner settings, undo this, right? And send this, it's still cached. And we can even change this to trevor.com. And you can see this is still at blah. Okay. Here's what I don't get is who's sending, that took like, I don't know, a lot of time and a lot of requests. Who's sending that many requests at the same page, getting the same response, but doing it anyway? And then after, 5 minutes, they get a different response and then go, "Pah, I knew it." I don't understand that part. If anybody could help me out. But yeah, so in the meantime, let's write up our script. So let's go get the URL. Go here, Python, utils, create script. There we go. We want this. Whoops. Here is where I want it. I want Vim. What was it? Internal cache poisoning. So we need to send a bunch of requests until the geolocate. So we need to send a bunch like this with a dynamic until, so that we avoid the external until we get the internal changed, and then we can exploit it. Okay. So let's try that, Kate. We need to request with modified header and cache buster until the geolocate URL points to the exploit server. Okay. All right, def. What do we want to call this? Geolocate blob. Geolocate domain buster. I don't know. Let's import the blog. What we want to do is we want to send a request with a cache buster. So to do the cache buster, let's import. And I always forget, is it string or strings? I think it's string. IPython. Okay, and we'll import random. And then random dot rand. There's what is it? Let's go to 4. Chrome. Python. Random. Want random string. Something like that. Random seed, get state, random bytes, random range, random choices. Okay, random choices. I think that's what we want. So random, what was it? Random choices. Choices. Yeah, like that. And then we can just join it. And that'll be our cache buster. Okay, so let's create another function for that. Get cache buster. We don't need any input. Well, we can do length, I guess. Length. We'll define it if we don't provide it. And then we'll do random.choices string.ascii lowercase k equals length. And then we'll do, to join those, boom, boom, dot join this, and then we'll just return that. Cool. CB equals get cache buster. We need to import random. And then we're going to request over and over, right? So should we use use request. So request dot get, the URL will be blog dot base URL. We need to plus URL equals blog.base URL plus question mark plus like this question mark CB equals 1. And then we're going to use URL here. So there's our, and then we need, do we need any, yeah, we need to change the, what is it? The exported host to headers equals a dictionary with exported host. And this will be, I gotta determine that headers equals headers, our host. So we need to get, it will already, so I'm thinking, I'm not saying what I'm doing. So we need to post the exploit too. We need to do that first. Def post exploit, right? Blog. And so that's going to be blog.post exploit with some changes. So when we do that, we'll have the exploit URL. Now we need to extract the domain part of the exploit URL so that we can put that here. Hope that made sense. So, and then we do that with, we did it not too long ago. Was it in here? Yeah, URL parse. Right here. Parsed except for its blog. And then exported host equals that. Boom. We need to import. And again, we can just copy that from here. Okay, let's close this one. Why? Whatever. Missing timeout. We should have it. But that's okay. We won't worry about that right now. So let's make sure we have this correct. We get a cache buster. Let's move that down here. We get our exploit URL and parse it. We get the netlock and save that as exported host. Is exported host what we want? Yes. And then we get our cache buster. We set our URL equals the base URL plus cache buster equals 1 headers. That looks right. response equals response. Okay. And then what we need is we need to check the response text. Let's just print our log.debug response.text to begin with. We need to post our exploit. Let's send this request, see how it does, if we got that right first. And then we'll worry about blog. Oh, but we don't have the... No, we're going to have to post our exploit. All right. Which is okay. We've done that a bunch. I just don't remember how to do it. Oh, it's right here. We can do basically this, except for we want to change a few things. Post exploit. Yeah. Response file. We want that to be JS geolocate JS. We want this to be application JavaScript, right? Application JavaScript. And we don't need this. Response body. Our goal was to alert. So alert document.cookie. So we can just do alert document.cookie like that. Form store, and it's a blog. Post exploit. File, head, body, form action. All right, that's right, right? Let's make sure I got, where's the content type? Application / JavaScript. I did do that right. And then, yeah, I think that's right. Okay. We need to call that though, post exploit. Post exploit blog. Control C, D, yes. Hopefully it's still live. Okay, it looks like it is. Let's go to proxy, HTTP history, and not that one. Okay, we should have this one. Oh, because we didn't use the proxy. Dang it. This is why we should do blog.get response URL headers equals headers instead of this, and then just do response equals. So okay, let's try it that way. Let's check our exploit server. Make sure this looks right. Geolocate, JavaScript, alert, perfect. Proxy. What just happened? Okay. Here's our get. And we did not get it, but exploit. Okay, yeah, exploit. And we need to grep this to see what the domain is. So this will be right here. Post exploit domain buster response. We want to find this. We need to capture. Okay, so let's do our capture group, which our regex will be. Man, we haven't done this in a while. Don't we have some helper scripts in site? Extract text. Self pattern text. We could use that. Extract text. All right. So blog dot extract text. Let's close this one. We want pattern and then the text. So pattern equals, we want the pattern to be, we can use double quotes. That's fine. Script source equals, and then we want capture group dot asterisk question mark and /js/geo locate. We want this to be boom boom like that, right? geolocate.js. That's our pattern. Dot asterisk question mark. That looks good. Oh, except for this needs to be a backslash. Everything else, oh, and I need this to be R. Okay, so pattern. What was it? Pattern, then text. Yeah, pattern. And then the text will be response.text. Domain. What is this? JS domain. Log dot info. Sure, JS domain. It's geolocate. Let's call it geo domain. And let's leave that one for now. Let's do this one after that one. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, we extracted it correctly. We didn't poison it. So now we can do our if geo domain dot starts with exploit dash exploit, then we can break, and then we can do while true, boom. This will break. Once it breaks, we know that we've got that poisoned. So now we need to send. Once we've got that poisoned, trying to think. How long does that? stay poisoned. I don't know. And we don't need the other ones poisoned. Once we have the internal poisoned with external, then what do we do? Let's log.info internal poisoned. Is that it? Do we just wait? I don't know. And we should like sleep time dot sleep one, you know, import sleep 1 second between establishing the each time we establish the cache. Oh, except for we're gonna do that at the beginning. That way it breaks right away. Now, once we've got it established, we should check if it's solved. Blog.is solved. Wait, I don't know, 30 seconds. I guess I'm kind of lost there. What do we do after we have it? Let's try this. See how we're doing. Oh, suck. Yeah. Open another one. All right. I don't know what's going on here. Normally, doesn't that just bring up another one? Let me pause the video and come back once I have something I can actually use. Okay, so it's been over 15 minutes. Let's try it now. Looks like it's going to work. Come on. There we go. So Python internal. Let's debug, paste that, hit go. And then I forget where we were, but get. Here's our post. Here's our get exploits. So we're waiting until this has exploit in it. On the geolocate. There we go. Internal poisoned. So now we're sleeping 30 seconds and checking if it's solved. Let's not solved. But it's still exploited. So let's add another time.sleep 30. I don't know how long that last, that cache last. So log dot sleeping 30 and trying again. No did solve it. All right, cool. So we did solve it. It didn't solve it within the first 30 seconds, but it was still poisoned after that. So I guess we solved it after it. Sweet. Yeah. I don't know what to say. This one, these expert ones were crazy. I don't know how you would, why in your right mind you would send something, so many times, as many times as it took. This one wasn't too bad. It was only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times until we got the exploit. But when I did it manually, it was like, I don't know, minutes. Anyway, it's done. This is an interesting one. It had 2 layers of cache. This was a fragment cache, so it only was caching this part of the page on the internal, and then everything else was cached externally. So we used a cache buster to bypass the external, and we used X forwarded host right here, which once it worked, it let us establish the internal cache with that host. And then once that was done, we just sat back and hoped that the victim visited the page while it was still active. If not, we would have needed to establish the cache again. Anyways, I hope this was helpful. And that's it for web cache poisoning, which thankfully, I did update this test stages. Basically, every single web cache poisoning that we did was XSS, right? So I put it in both user access and admin access. I think that makes the most sense. I did not add it here. But yeah, this is growing. If you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Goodbye.